Hello, 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 and welcome to what episode are we on? Episode 10 of the brand new Marketing That Grows Your Business show. I don't know, can I say it's brand new anymore? It's kind of, we're settled into our routine and maybe we're not super new anymore. But today, guys, we're going to be talking about YouTube and more specifically why YouTube is so important for us as business owners. It's been important, but most of us, myself to be included, have not embraced YouTube as fully as we potentially should be embracing it. But YouTube is, I think, a huge and hot opportunity in this climate that we're currently in with the COVID-19, because guess what, guys? Live video and video across the board, people are consuming it at like astronomical rates. My son, who is a millennial, granted he is a millennial, but I was talking to him last night and he's like, Mom, I think I have gotten all the way to the end of YouTube. He said, I'm so bored. That's all he's been doing is watching YouTube videos and Netflix, I think. So point of it is there's such a huge opportunity for us right now around live video. I'm sorry, YouTube video. And technically you can use YouTube for live as well. So as you guys are coming in though, give me a shout out. Where in the world are you? And what is the weather like? And how are you doing? Let's talk about that real quick. How are you doing? I have been struggling a little bit. Hey, Jenny. Oh, awesome. Awesome. I'm so glad that you're here. You're going to love today's guest. She's amazing. And I said she, right? So we have, Greg says, I have about 38 videos up and 100 more to transfer. Yes. Okay. So a lot of YouTube experts are guys. So I found a true bona fide, what is that? Woman who is doing amazing things on YouTube. So I'm excited to have her share her genius with you guys today. So how is everybody? As you guys know, I do a couple of giveaways. So as you get your aha moments in today's show, drop in aha in the comments, because we're going to give a couple of giveaways. One is this, it looks so little, but it's a thing that you slide over your webcam, technically it only works on a laptop, but this way you can keep people from peekabooing. Yay! Hey, Patricia, welcome. So glad you're here. And then we're also doing the Marketing That Grows Your Business you pop it on your phone, and now you have a light for your phone. So it's a selfie light for your phone. We've got Casey from Sarnia, Ontario. So Sarnia brings back hockey for me, because my boys played hockey their entire childhood / early adult years. So I've been there. I've actually been to Sarnia. And then we have upstate New York hanging in there. Excellent, Barbara. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. So I was telling somebody the other day, hey, Lisa, that I feel like I am a teenager who has been grounded and I can't go hang out with my friends. Like, I've worked from home for years, but this whole thing is messing with my head, because now I know I can't just go out. And so I think a lot of us are probably struggling with that. I'm just curious, do you guys, is that kind of your dynamic? Is like, I could stay home for days and not have an issue with it. I've done it before, but now all of a sudden, because I have to stay home, it's like, man, this sucks, because you can't just run out to dinner or go hang out with friends. I'm just curious if you guys are feeling that, having that same dynamic. All right. So don't forget, and before I forget, I almost forgot. We're also, I just want to share, we have a sponsor today for today's show. All month, they're going to be sponsoring the show. Easel.com. If you guys are not familiar with Easel, I just want to give them a big old shout out, because they are an incredible tool, very similar to Canva, if you're familiar with Canva. I think the difference that I would primarily point out as it relates to which one should you use, would be the fact that they have amazing pre-designed content that you really don't have to shift a whole lot. You just go pick it out, say, oh, this looks good, maybe put your logo on it and download it, and voila, you've got a piece of social media content. So they have really great content. Lisa's saying, yes, I work at home, but no biggie, but now I want to bust out of here, right? It's like, it's such an interesting dynamic. We're also giving away three individuals today a month of easel.com for free to give it a whirl and try it out. So Deb is saying, I work from home. Oh, I missed that. Thanks. I work from home right there with you. I can't go to coffee shop and sharing house with my husband. Exactly. Doing Zoom gatherings, but they're not the same as face to face. Absolutely agree. But, honestly, I feel like even with Zoom in place, we can at least, try it. Stay connected. Stay connected. Hashtag stay connected. And if you are interested in trying Easel, just go to kimgarst.com/Easel. Jumping around a little bit today. I love Easel. I really do. I love the fact that all of their templates are amazing, like I mentioned before. But what's really fascinating, and just doing comparison between, like I said, between them and them and Canva, is the people who design their templates are designers. They're graphic designers, and they spend a lot of time and energy on their content. And I think that's not necessarily the case with Canva. I think a lot of their templates are user-based. People, regular people, users have created the content more so than, professional graphic designers. And so you'll be able to see a great difference in their templates. So Melissa's saying, working from home here, so taking advantage of marketing expert advice. Yay. So excited that you're here. All right. So let me introduce you to today's guest. Like I say, I'm super excited to share her with you. I always like to give a little bit of backstory around how I know who I asked to come on the show. So I know Desiree for, I don't know, probably 3 or 4 years. We first met at Social Media Marketing World a few years back. And she just walked up and introduced herself. We struck it off. We found that we had a lot in common. Both of our husbands, my husband's retired from the military. Her husband just got out of the military. We're very passionate about helping women in particular, but we're also very passionate about military spouses. Because it's hard. It's a hard life. And so we connected around that. She has gone on to do some amazing things, primarily with YouTube. She does have a YouTube, Women for YouTube channel, which we'll talk about today as well. But let me just flash up her bio here so you guys can get a sense for, one, look at that face, right? You're going to love her. She is energetic. She's a podcaster. She's a social media professional. She shares all kinds of stuff, primarily around video and content marketing. She's really passionate about helping businesses take actionable steps towards creating that successful content. And like I said before, she is, her husband that just got out of the military. She's a mom of 2 rambunctious kids, she says, and she's a tea addict, a Slytherin fan, and a pedicure junkie, which we have a problem with right now because I had to take my nails off. I don't know. We'll have to ask Desiree what she had to do. But I want you guys to give her a big, whoa, welcome. Welcome, Desiree. Hey.
Him. And the pedicure struggle is real. I had to take it all off myself. They look terrible. And I live in Arizona where it's sandals and bare feet all the time, so it's getting out of control.
It's a problem. Yes. Yeah, my nails oh look, and they're filed down to the
nubs.
But hey, if this is our worst struggle and this is all that we have to worry about, I guess we're okay, right?
Agreed. Totally.
So how in the world are you in all of this craziness that's going on right now?
I'm doing my best. I'm an extrovert, so my struggles are pretty real. I'm with you. I've been working from home for forever, and it's hard not being able to just get out and go drive around or go plop down at a coffee shop or whatever. But I think the biggest adjustment is I also have I have 2 kids, and my son is just as much of an extrovert as me, so he's also really struggling with not getting people interaction and hanging out with people and getting to go do stuff, because we're that family when we're like, we're bored, we got ants in our pants, let's go do something. And so I think that's been the hardest part. So we basically are just throwing all of our effort into making our backyard cool. So
Oh, that's cool. Well, it's fascinating because I guess Home Depot and Lowe's and places like that are considered, essential services. Like so, and there's Walmart and there's Target and obviously grocery stores. But when we go there, it's like date night. Woo! Like, everybody, it's like they go there just to hang out because it's the only outlet, right? Which is probably
yeah,
not
which is
smart.
not what you're supposed to be doing at all, right? You're
Right,
not supposed to go
right.
out in public places. We've taken to uh car dates. We just like get in the car and like get a drink or some food before we do and drive around.
That's good. I like that. That's such a great idea. All
Mhm.
right. So, big fancy question right out the gate for you. So, how in the world did you get on the YouTube road? I know you started with just social media as a whole, but then you took a very strong pivot and you started really focusing in on YouTube. So can you share a little bit about that journey?
Yeah, so my journey actually starts with how I started my agency, which is called allinonesocialmedia.com. So, I'm a military spouse. I became a military spouse in 2013, and we got stationed in this really remote town in Texas. And one of the things that kept happening is I kept seeing all of these women on our local Facebook group, because every base in the world has a Facebook group for spouses so that they can come together and connect and answer questions and problems and stuff. And one of the things that kept happening is people couldn't get work. The town that we were in didn't like hiring military spouses. And I had actually dealt with this as a kid. I grew up a Marine Corps kid. And I remember in 1991, we were stationed in Japan, and my mom had to actually fly back to the States and stay with my grandfather to supplement our family's income because, as you know, when you're on sergeant pay, it's not great, especially in the early 90s. And so it was this real struggle. And I'm like, how is this still an issue 25 years later? And so I was like, well, I've been doing social media at this time for 5 years. I might as well use this skill, train up these military spouses, and teach them how to be social media managers. And then I'll put the effort into finding the work, and then they can get paid. And so that's what I've been doing for the past 5 years. Well, a year into having this business, my husband came home and was like, "We have orders. We're moving to South Korea." And I was like, okay, because that's what we say in military life, and we have to adapt and overcome. And so at that time, I actually came across this really fantastic book called Vlog Like a Boss by Amy Schmittauer Landino. And it showed me how I could use YouTube to build a business and connect with people. And I'm a very extroverted person, like I said before. And so being able to connect with people and educate them on the different parts of social media is really important part of what I do. And so when we got moved to South Korea, I launched my YouTube channel in August of 2017. And it was rough. Not gonna lie to you guys, like your first videos that are supposed to be terrible as a rite of passage for becoming a YouTuber or using YouTube as a part of your marketing. And I'm like, I'm using a webcam in a window and like fluorescent lighting. I have on way too much makeup. I'm wearing a terrible outfit. I have my camera, which was a webcam at the time, um, on my computer, and I talk with my hands, and so it's like shaking. It was a mess, but I did it, and I've been doing it ever since. And so I was dedicating myself to 3 videos a week on YouTube for a really long time, and I dialed it back down to 2 just because it was too much for bandwidth for me. But I just started really investing the time into creating content that answered questions and solved problems for people around social media. And since then, I've been able to have that as the pillar of all of my marketing for what I'm doing with my agency. It's what I send to my email list. It's what I use to educate my clients. It's what I use to grow my email list and really establish myself as, I feel, an industry leader because I'm putting myself out there and making sure people know what the ins and outs of social media content marketing are.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I know there's probably a lot of people watching or potentially even listening and doing other things right now. because they're mad multitaskers. So for those that might not be on YouTube yet, or even if they have, sorry, have a it's not the corona, I don't think, um, that why now? I mean, I think there's a bigger opportunity right now with YouTube, frankly. I mean, the opportunity's always been there. It's not like YouTube's new, but right now there is an opportunity that is ripe, I think. So for, people who aren't there yet, my question would be, why would they want to be there, specifically right now?
Okay, so well, right now, so let me tell you. So the coronavirus has been bad for the world, but it has been awesome for my YouTube analytics and what I'm doing. So I'm going to pull up my phone and show you. So this is the last 28 days on YouTube where you can see that my views have doubled because people are on the internet looking for solutions to problems. People, especially like because my specific niche is around social media and content marketing, so many people that are watching the videos on my channel are trying to solve problems like, how do I go live? How do I do these different things with my business? How do I set up a Facebook page? So many people are trying to hustle right now and figure out how they can, get their business to make revenue for them during this time. And another thing I think that's happening is people are finally having the time to do the business development that they want. And so, but depending on what your niche is, you could have really leaned into that during this time and created content that continues to help people solve problems around what you do, specifically through COVID.
Yeah, that's a super great idea, actually, there. So I think a lot of people, when they think YouTube, just like I was sharing my son's story earlier, okay, it's just a bunch of kids on there, like, all the way down to like little kids who are making millions of dollars doing toy reviews, right? So, what are the demographics of YouTube for us, like regular people like me who are trying to market their business? Is my person on YouTube?
Absolutely, because you have to remember that YouTube, the let me dial it back. So you have to remember when you're creating content for people, you're solving problems. You're not just like preaching about your business and why it's so great and why everyone should buy from you. YouTube is a place to entertain and educate. Like it's basically the foundation of everything in marketing. You're either entertaining or you're educating. And if you can be both, like you've hit a really nice sweet spot. And so even if you look at things like beauty bloggers, they're educating you on how to do something. If you look at people who like construction people or people that do anything with home repair, they're educating you about how to do things. And then when you have things on the other side, and these tend to be the things that are more trending and more popular, which is entertainment, like, all of the late night hosts are doing their shows remotely now. You have a lot of famous YouTubers like Lisa Shea and all that kind of stuff who are doing things to make you laugh and help you get through this. One of my favorite YouTubers, they're the Holderness family. They call themselves the Holder Mess family. And they're like a family YouTube channel where they do a lot of like silly songs and fun DIY projects. And they're just trying to like be there with you through like this thing we called life as parents. And so it's finding that balance. So are your people there? Yes, because whenever people are going to search for problems, they're either going to YouTube, but more likely they're going to Google. And if you're doing your YouTube strategy right, which I'm sure we'll go into some specific details, you'll show up in search on Google and on YouTube for being the solution to someone's problem.
And that's such a great point. And I just wanted to pull up some stats real quick on YouTube because one of the things we really didn't talk about on the front side of this is, some of the dynamics. So, Jeff, if you'll just pull those up for us. One, I'm just going to key in on a couple of key things. YouTube is the number two most trafficked site, right? So, and why is it's because it's owned by Google, one, and two, it is to Desiree's point. There is so many people consuming content there, whether it's, they're searching for something to help them solve a problem that they have, or whether or not they are actually, there for entertainment purposes. And I think there's a lot of different avenues for why people are there. But, there's over 1 billion unique users visit YouTube each and every month. It's just a staggering number. And almost, if you've ever looked at, and Desiree, I'd love your take on this too, just from the standpoint of, how Google surfaces content for us when we're out there searching for stuff. Almost every time we search for content on the Google machine, as I call it, you're going to have there's going to be a video return on your search almost always, right? That's one of the values of having video content is, and I'd really like to dig into that just a little bit more. I think I have that on my list further down, my question list. By the way, guys, if you have questions, drop them in, because I have a list, but I want your, it's not exclusive here. We would love to take your questions too. So Lisa's saying, aha, educate and entertain. I should have been there all along. This is such a huge message. I'm so glad you mentioned that too, because just showing up and being you and being funny or quirky or whatever, however it is, I think is super important on YouTube or anywhere. But one of the things I was going to ask and really key in on is around the concept of the content piece itself on YouTube, because people are searching for content on the Google machine, right? Hey, how do I fix my toilet? As a quick example. And more than likely, there's going to be a few blog posts there. But if I'm looking to fix my toilet, more than likely, I'm going to click on a video, right, Desiree? That's why the how-to questions are super important. So content overall and how you frame it on YouTube with the context of content marketing, Google machine searches is important, is my question. Did I say that? That was a long question and a lot of pieces.
No, I think I get. So, yeah. So as far as how people are finding you and what they're looking for is all about how-tos. People are looking solutions to their problems. So a lot of times, how to fix my toilet, how to do something, what's the difference between this? I think a lot about how I search for things. Usually it's questions or statements like content marketing September or content marketing for this specific industry or social media tips or what's going on, how to set up things. And so my most popular videos on my channel are how to do things, how to link your Facebook to your Instagram, how to go live horizontally from your phone, how to add a guest to your Facebook live stream, how to set up a Facebook page. So these are all my top ranking videos, and those have nothing really, I would say they have nothing to do with content marketing. These aren't going to be probably people that are coming into my sphere for my do it for you services, but there are people that get into my sphere and they I can lead them to more videos to solve more problems. And so and as far as that, we can talk about structure and things to do with your YouTube channel for sure. But it's all about making yourself Googleable, like what Kim said, because you have to be found based on your information that you're providing. And there are a lot of extra things that you need to do to make sure that works best for you. But that's really where you start.
Yeah. Well, so that begs the next question. And those of you who are watching or listening, drop in if you would. Do you currently have a YouTube channel? Because I'm just curious to see how many of you guys already have a channel. And for those of you who don't, because one, no judgment here. If you haven't gotten there yet, it's okay. But if one of the struggles, I think, and I'd love your take on this. So Monica's saying, I started, but my Wi-Fi stinks so bad. But I kept telling myself to go to the library and schedule my content. Yes. Of course, right now you can't go to the library more than likely. But the concept of, being active, and we're going to talk about that. I have that on my list here of, how often should you be posting to YouTube. But when it comes to those who don't have YouTube channels, how do they go about getting one? What's the process?
To go about getting a YouTube channel?
Yes.
So
Like, can they
if you
just
have a
go to
Gmail.
youtube.com and sign up?
Yeah, if you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube account. Like you kind of can't have one without the other. You just kind of go in and claim it. Um, there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube on like how to set up your YouTube channel from scratch. I don't lean into the YouTube education stuff because I know that there's a lot of other people um, who are more experts in that than I am. I mean, obviously, I can talk about how to set a YouTube channel. It's not hard, but the biggest thing about setting up your YouTube channel is making sure that you have some things in place for yourself, like making sure you're very clear about your branding, because a lot of us are already established brands, so you want it to be consistent from your other places like Instagram and your website and Facebook, so that they know it's you. You definitely want to make sure that you can claim your URL. And in order to claim your YouTube URL, you have to have at least 100 subscribers. So that's like your first goal to work up towards. The other thing is you want to make sure you have like a really nice banner for your YouTube channel that very clearly defines like what this channel is about, and it's clear what the channel is about visually. So like if you're a plumber or something, you want to have that visual in your header. For me, it's just me because I'm kind of the star of my channel, and I have the tag for my show, which is helping you grow your business with better content marketing. And then you also can add in extra things like when you're uploading every week. They have a feature for adding in your Instagram and your website and things like that. And then you want to go in and make sure that your about section is filled out. And then you also have your channel hashtags included, or your channel tags included when you're setting up your channel. That way YouTube can know better how to categorize you, because the more information you can give YouTube about what your channel is about and the content that you are producing for your audience, the better they can service you to those that are looking for it.
Great explanation. That was actually one of my questions, was how do you go about getting that branded URL, which you outlined. So you do need 100 subscribers to get that, but then it'll be so much easier to tell people your YouTube channel. That's why these
Yeah,
branded URLs are so important.
you can totally game it too. Like you could have something like I know with my website, which is a WordPress website, you can use an extension called Pretty Links. And so until I had my 100 subscribers, you could find my YouTube channel at allinOneSocialMedia.com/YouTube. I know some people will buy like the .tv or like the .video website URL, so you could do like kimgarst.video or that kind of a thing. So that if you need to like make it to fake it till
Easy.
you make
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So that's just a URL shortener, essentially. So to your point, it's
Yeah.
still branded. I love Pretty Links. We use it all the time. In fact, when you've probably seen me here with the whole kimgarst.com/easel, right? That's a Pretty
Yeah.
Link, and it allows me to keep my branded name, and yet still, send people other places. So that's an example, just as a quick example. Okay, so let's go down just a slightly different road, because part of what I wanted to share with people today is how rich the opportunity is now. This opportunity has always been there, but the concept of content on YouTube, and the fact that evergreen content in particular has has a lifespan that is much longer and more deep and more and richer than a post that you put on Facebook or Twitter. The lifespan of a Facebook post is a day, maybe, a tweet, seconds, versus a YouTube video. How long is that lifespan? What's that look like if you have a great evergreen piece of content on YouTube?
Oh my God, truly forever. My top performing videos are all old videos. Like they have lasted for a long time. And I've actually done updates of those videos, and the first one still ranks before the second one does, the updated version. So it's really just one of those things. It's like one of the things that people get really frustrated about with YouTube is how long it takes. So many people are like, oh, I'm only at this many subs, I only have this many views. It's really frustrating for me. Like, you have to go through that struggle. I didn't hit my 1,000 subscriber mark with 4,000 hours of watch time, which is what you have to do to monetize your channel. And that's where like you get the advertisements before your channel, and then YouTube starts paying you with AdSense. I didn't hit that until I had been doing YouTube for 18 months. And I could even say that even after that, and it wasn't really until like August, September of last year, 2019, that I was really crystal clear about my messaging. Like my growing your business with better social media content marketing, it had taken me about 2 years to get really clear about that because it takes time and development to get to it. That is why I truly believe that there is a gigantic difference between being a YouTuber and doing video marketing. And I think that you have to really establish what it is that you're trying to accomplish with video. It's one thing to be a YouTuber, and it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time and it's a lot of content creation. And then there's something for being a video marketer. And a video marketer is someone that is creating content with a purpose for funneling in other things for video, for using it for multiple purposes and doing a bit more with it. What you'll find about a lot of YouTubers is that they're just completely focused on YouTube and they don't put a lot of energy and effort into the strategies of growing in other places to or
Mm.
using other places to grow their YouTube channel. Like they're super focused on just YouTube and making that system and that their and the totally spacing the word, but making it work for them.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And so for those of you who are like, man, I'm not going to be a YouTuber, like that's not my sole gig. I don't want to just, focus in there and that's the only thing I do. I've got communities, other places where I want to be on other social platforms. So just breathe a big sigh of relief right now and know that it's okay. Your goal probably, if for most of us, I'll just give that this content that lives longer than a moment. I'm all about creating content that lasts. Yes, I agree, Lisa. So from the perspective of understanding that you may not be a quote unquote YouTuber, but you could use video very intentionally to drive traffic and support a community there as well as in other places. That to me resonates more, and I bet for most of you guys it would as well. Whereas being intentional, maybe even which I want to talk about repurposing content in a moment, but don't want to jump there just yet. So let me ask about like the thumbnail and how important the thumbnail is on YouTube.
So if I
The thumbnail.
had to
Let me
talk
give a
about
quick.
the
I'm
most
sorry. Before you answer that question, let me give just a quick explanation of the thumbnail. A thumbnail, for those of you who may not know, is just the visual cover that goes on your video. Now, with that in perspective, like how important is it?
Okay, so if I had to give an importance of getting your videos clicked on, it would be 51% of the importance is the thumbnail and 49% of it is the title. Like they are hand in hand. Now, there is something to be said also for how good the video is and how many people are going to watch it and how long they watch it. But in order to get people in, you have to have a solid thumbnail and you have to have a really engaging title that is clearly going to solve the problem for them and it's in a catchy way.
And does the title need to be on the image? Do they need to be the same? In other words, can the
So,
title
no,
be set? Go ahead.
no, they actually,
Okay.
I really don't think that they should be the same. So, like, if you look at, I don't know if your person wants to pull up my YouTube channel. It's just youtube.com/, Mrs. Desiree Rose, MRS. You can see that I have started to find better growth with my YouTube channel when my thumbnails started to be fewer to no words. And I had like a very, thought-provoking thumbnail. So like recently I did a video that was all about different kinds of lead magnets for your content marketing. And my thumbnail was just leads equal, and then I had the emojis for dollar signs. And I had myself as the thing. I don't remember what my face was. I think my face is like this, like in the video or in the thumbnail. And so I'm doing that, and I put a lot of work into the graphics of what I'm doing, not as much as some people do, but it is something I do really take time to work through. Um, but um, but the title of the video is here. I'll just pull it up. The title of the video is like much longer and like purposeful because I had to like make sure that I had the right keyword in there for it. And I had to make sure that I did it. And that's why I love TubeBuddy. And I put the link to TubeBuddy in the comments of our live feed here because it's like my secret weapon for making sure that all of my YouTube videos have every chance for success as best as possible because they have a system with their SEO optimization where it walks you through step by step. You pick your keyword, you create a title, you put together your description, and then it has the thumbnail where you can see what your thumbnail looks like compared to what other people based on your keyword are doing. Oh, perfect. Okay. So right
Oh,
down
thank
here where I
you.
have the content marketing strategy to get leads, make sales, and build a brand. I think is the title of the video. Or sorry, build a buy community, right? So, but the thumbnail is just what's catchy, right? So I'm trying really hard to keep it as like simple as possible. As you can see too, like my most recent video, the make videos free and fast. That's about making text animation videos so that you're able to have a different way to create content. Because I'm actually doing a series right now about like how to create videos without showing your face. Because a lot of people get hung up on like the tech and how they look or how they sound or whatever the reasons are for it. So it really helps them with that. So the more, and if you see as you go down more, I have a lot of text on my thumbnails because that was what I was doing originally, where I was basically taking my content and putting it onto a thumbnail from my title. So you really want to get away from the putting your title on your thumbnail because it's proven that you want to use as few words as possible and also have a really engaging title, whether if it's your face, because if you're the hero of the content, to be very expressive, but you don't always have to show your face because sometimes it's not necessary.
Really great explanation. I really appreciate the fact that you shared that the kind of the process that you've gone through too. So the good news is you guys are learning and the shortening the learning curve so you don't make the same mistakes that Desiree made where she was, yeah, a thumbnail is a must. But the thing about, I think, for many is, not understanding how important the thumbnail is and then how visual it is. It's the first touch point people have with your content. So looking good is half the battle, obviously. So from the standpoint of tools, like, would you recommend a tool that you primarily use or even a couple of tools that you use to build out your thumbnails?
So what I use for my thumbnails is Photoshop. I am an OG Photoshop user. I've been using Photoshop since like 2001. So like that's what I'm comfortable with. However, there's a really great tool I like that's called Relay That. It's very similar to Easel where it has really great templates in place for all of the different social networks and online platforms so that you can easily kind of like use their pre-existing templates that they have, fill in the text and add in the right pictures to it. I'm sure Easel has something for YouTube thumbnail creators that's really great. Also, TubeBuddy, depending on the package that you sign up for, if you want to do a paid package, they have a thumbnail generator tool as well.
Oh, yeah, there you go. I have got to try out TubeBuddy. I meant to talk with Rob when I was out there and out in the social media marketing world, and I just missed the opportunity. So I definitely need to do that. I need to up my
TubeBuddy
YouTube
is
game.
just like TubeBuddy is just as important to YouTube as like a content as Agora pulses to scheduling out your social media content. Like that's like the best analogy I can give you. Like if you want to, there's creating content and then there's making sure that it works really well for you. And so it's really important to make sure that like what you're creating has the best chance for success by being seen, and that's what TubeBuddy's going to help you do because it's not just a simple matter of solving a problem for somebody. You have to make sure that it's getting found by people. And like we've learned a lot about this over the years online marketing through blogging. And so this is essentially like the next step to it. And it's so much easier to optimize a YouTube video than it is to optimize a blog.
Yeah. Yes, right. But again, understanding the pieces, it's all about that checklist. Like, what am I supposed to be doing here? And what I'm hearing you say is that TubeBuddy is basically your checklist. Because it,
Yeah,
it gives
everybody
you all the pieces.
literally has a
Yeah.
checklist
Yes.
into it. So like it tells you like it literally walks you through step one, step two,
Right.
step three, step four, and then it has like more things as you continue to like walk through it to make it work for you. It's
Right.
just like the longer I'm a YouTuber, the more I like dive deeper in the capabilities of what TubeBuddy can do and how it really does help your brand. And on top of it, it's a really great community. Like once you dive into the TubeBuddy community, the people that work with TubeBuddy are incredibly helpful. They just want you to have success on your YouTube channel. I have a Facebook group called the Women of YouTube. So if you're a woman looking to get into YouTube or already there trying to figure it out, I do a lot of like channel reviews and I help people by using TubeBuddy and I show how to use it so that it makes it a lot easier. Like it's so good. Like I can't recommend it enough.
And so I'm assuming if you are interested, like if you guys are interested in the Women of YouTube Facebook group, you just type in Women of YouTube in the search bar in Facebook and you can get it and get to it. Is that
And I'll
right?
also put the link in your chat here.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So if someone is just getting started with YouTube, what would you recommend as kind of a theme for their very first video?
I tell literally every single person that wants to get started with video marketing, the first place to start is by writing a list of your top 10 Q&As that you get asked all the time. So for me and my business, it's like, what social network should I be on? How do I create a Facebook page? What do I do for an Instagram business page? These are the kinds of questions I get asked all the time. How can I get leads for my social media? So what you do is you're going to write out those 10 Q&As, and then you have your list of your first 10 videos. And every single video should be one of those questions. And the reason it's so important to start with those is because number one, if someone is asking you that question, they're probably searching for that answer on YouTube or Google. And number two, it's going to be really easy for you to talk about it because you already answer that question all the time. And the easiest way for you to have success on YouTube is if you're comfortable with recording yourself and giving that explanation. And so by starting with something you know, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to find success by getting started. So that is truly the easiest way to get started with YouTube, is to answer the questions you're already getting asked all of the time.
Oh, I love that strategy. And I totally agree because, if you think about the way that, thank you for popping that up there. So, guys, if you're interested in the Women of YouTube Facebook group, definitely go check out Desiree's group, Facebook group. Let me ask another question in that I think when people are just getting started on YouTube, there's importance when it comes to what people obviously we've already talked about the importance of the title and the fact that they need a great cover. Their thumbnail needs to be perfect. But the next thing, when somebody clicks that play button, do you have like a formula that you recommend as how do you open up your video? Do you call it a hook, or how would you articulate that to those that are watching or listening?
Okay, so here's like my base, I guess, formula, like what you just said for my videos. I start out by telling people what this video is going to accomplish and why they're probably there. So because I know, so let's use the question about like what social network should I be using? So I would start a video saying, you're here because you're trying to figure out what social network is the best platform for your business. So make sure you stay tuned and we're going to dive deep into this. Okay. And so then I go into my hook, I guess. And so for me, I say, hi, my name is Desiree. If you're looking to grow your business, better social media and content marketing, take action now by hitting that subscribe button and the bell below. Now, there are different YouTube educators that will say do that or don't do that, have an intro, don't have an intro. I dropped having an introduction in my videos that was like a branded graphic for one specific reason. No one gives two craps about me. They're there for me to solve their problem. I am not the hero of this video. I am Gandalf to their Frodo. I am there to lead them through the journey by solving their problem. I'm able to add in my extra branding with like graphics on the screen. So like I have this little like bottom third pop-up that shows up at the bottom of my screen that's like my name and my website. I try really hard to say my hook quickly and like move past it. And so we have like why you're here, my basic super simple hook, and then I dive into the information. Now, oftentimes what I'm also trying to do is like while I'm also trying to be their hero, I want to make sure that I can stay in contact with them. And that's why the calls to action are really helpful. If they subscribe, they can get notifications and follow me along my journey. But the other thing that's important too is I'm trying to build my email list so I can stay in touch with them. So oftentimes the content that I'm creating is not only solving their problem, but I have an extension to help it. So oftentimes I am drawing attention to a freebie or a checklist that I have for them to help them out. So like my current promotion that I'm about to pivot away from is my content planning worksheet. It's like a sheet that you use to plan all your content. Like you brain dump, you identify your goals. It tells you you work through like what you need to create for your content calendar, right, on a monthly basis. And I have a video that pairs it, and it's a whole thing. But that's what I'm usually drawing attention to because I'm talking about content marketing. And I'm always like, if you're looking to figure out what the best platform is, well, or once you figure out what the best platform is, you got to know what you want to say there. So definitely go grab my content planning worksheet so that you can work through that as easily as possible. Get that in the description down below. So let's talk about, so then you go into the meat, right? So now let's talk about what platforms there are available to you for your business. So you're probably here because you're either a B2B or B2C businesses. All businesses can benefit from this, this, and this. These are the platforms. I just walk through it, okay? And then my last tip for you at the end of your video is don't make it a noticeable goodbye. So I always try to draw attention to my next video. Like I don't make videos that don't support another video because you want to keep people in your loop of information. So at the end of my videos, I'm always drawing attention to a video I'm making next, or it's upcoming, or it's a video I've already done. So in this case, I would say if you were looking to figure out like how to get started with Facebook, you're going to watch this video right here. I always do the hand to gesture. This is where those boxes show up on YouTube where it's like click here for more. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Like it's really like a very abrupt ending because if people know the ending is coming, they're just going to tune out and go search more on YouTube. And I want to keep them trapped in my YouTube and keep building that connection with them.
Yeah. So you want your YouTube channel to be a Netflix for your viewer, right?
Yeah. We always talk about in
obviously,
the YouTube community making bingeable content.
yes, bingeable, snackable. I like snackable too because I think people are after the quick information, right? And
Absolutely.
but they want more of it. And they want to feel like that's one of the reasons that so many people are consuming so much content right now is that, you know, they're on YouTube or they're, you know, on watching Facebook Lives or whatever kind of thing. And by the way, it's hugely important that you get people to stick on your YouTube videos. That's a very important metric. That's how that's how YouTube surfaces your content more frequently. If they see that is that right? If they see that people are sticking with on your YouTube videos, they're watching 3/4 of it or, you know, all of it, they're more likely to surface your content more frequently. Is that correct, Desiree?
Yeah, so your watch times matter, your clickability to other videos matters, how your videos service. Like that's kind of like YouTube 2.0, definitely. And again, that's a YouTuber thing. But I think it's important when you're making content that you can tell them, your audience, your viewer, that you can continue to solve problems for them. And that's why drawing attention to the next video is important. Again, you have to ask yourself, do you want to be a YouTuber or do you want to use video to market your business? And YouTube is just kind of the house for it. And I think that there's nothing wrong with either strategy. And in fact, I have a whole thing about just using it for video marketing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that differentiation too. So, from the standpoint of taking content, video content that you might already have, let's talk about repurposing really quick. Is
Yes.
that something that is feasible for YouTube, or do you need to create content that is specific for YouTube? Does it need to be like structured differently for YouTube, or could you take like Facebook Lives, for example, and put them over on YouTube? Is that a good strategy?
Okay, so I have a lot of thoughts about this. Whether you're using YouTube for being a YouTuber or you're using YouTube as for video marketing, you have to keep it back. You have to keep in mind the audience and who's the viewing experience. Lives are fantastic, specifically if you're live, because you're able to post up those questions and keep it engaging, and you have that audience participation. And even if you're watching like a replay of a live on Facebook later, you can still like live comment through it and see that kind of stuff. YouTube is a lot different because um, YouTube people are there to like get to the point and see what's going on. There are YouTube lives and you can, and a lot of people will watch those, but those don't perform as well when you're not recording for the replay. And so that's what I talk a lot about when people are going live. So here's how I would advise people: if you're going to record your YouTube lives, or sorry, if you're going to record a Facebook, YouTube, whatever live, you have to keep in mind that you should make this for the replay. And if you are planning to use this on YouTube, here's what I advise you to do. When you start off your video, you should tell everybody, hey guys, we're going to be doing questions at the end of like my information or whatever, so make sure you stick around to watch that. And then dive into the formula for what you're going to talk about. So if you're going to have like a list, if you're going to explain something, if you're going to answer a question, do that first and then end it, and then go into the Q&A and the engaging live part. And then what you can do in post, or even like within like the internal YouTube editor, or even in the Facebook live editor, you can cut it out. You can cut out that beginning part and you can cut out that end part. And then you have that video that you can use for the replay.
Really great. I totally agree 100% with you, because I feel like, to your point, and I even try to do it here on Facebook, but there's more, or on any of the other social platforms. Like right now, we're on Periscope, we're on YouTube, we're on LinkedIn Live, and every platform I think is different. But I always like to tell people what's in it for them right out the gate, even here, on any of the social platforms, because I want them to know that, that's what they're going to get out of this if they hang in there. The flip side to that, though, is that there's more engagement usually when you're live. Normally, if you have a community and there's people, like we've been, highlighting people's comments and things like that, and those types of things are not exactly normal in a regular YouTube video piece of content. So I think
Yeah.
it's important that you, if you're going to leverage your Facebook Live contents, or just go live on YouTube, that you keep in mind that it is a very different platform. One of the things we've done for some of our clients, from a repurposing standpoint, is we'll download their Facebook Lives and we will edit out the external stuff, I call it, the chit chat on the front side, or, the Q&A on the back side, where we just really try to keep the content focused for YouTube versus all the other stuff that you might see in a live show, if you will, like this one. Whereas, if I was going to repurpose this, I would totally do it differently for YouTube. Hopefully that made
Yeah.
sense.
I'm glad that you already do that, because like I said, when it comes to YouTube, especially if you, I really feel like, especially if you are solving problems, answering questions, gets the point. People don't want all the extra
Yeah.
stuff.
Yep. I mean, they're there. So Ronnie is saying, I've been trying to convert my FB Lives into YouTube, but the editing can get kind of crazy. So thoughts about separating the two. Facebook Live is one animal and specific videos solely for YouTube. So in other words, instead of repurposing, but using the same content idea, I mean, I think that's what she's saying, I've got 5 ways to do what. what X, right? I've got 5 ways to do X. I might go live with it, and yet I could do that same video for YouTube, but use the formula that you talked about. Is that what you would recommend?
Yeah, I would say that that's the best idea. Like, if you know exactly what you're going to be talking about, you have it list down planned, just record it for the replay again. Make sure your audience knows going into the video what to expect. Maybe you can even include that in the description, and then do all of your Q&As at the end of the video. Because you're in control with Facebook Live, right? You can control when people are going to, like, when you're going to bring in comments and stuff, and when you're going to say things. And you can have maybe, like I said, if you have a moderator that can go in and say, okay, we got your question, we'll answer it after she does her explanation or whatever. The thing that's so great about Facebook Lives and even YouTube Lives and going live in general, it's all about the community and what's happening right now. YouTube is not about that. Like, YouTube is about, like, the long game. Like, the evergreen content, the things that people can keep searching, building that big library to keep reusing over and over again. Even people that go live on YouTube, even like the big YouTubers, they still have their normal set schedule of their video content that they create ahead of time, and then they're doing these extras for the community. Like Nick Nimmin, who's a really big YouTube educator, he does these lives a couple times a month on Saturday mornings, and he does just live channel reviews. And those videos stay up, and then they like get put into a playlist. But like, the reason for that is for the community, for him to give back. He also makes a great deal of money off of the super chats that come with it. Super chats is where you can send money to the live stream or to the channel that you're on just to show extra support. So it is an option for, as you get bigger, it's an option for more revenue for you. So I would really encourage you to really think about creating content for YouTube versus lives. I think live is great, but I don't think it's a very YouTuber strategy for YouTube, but it's definitely something you can do for video marketing.
Yeah. So I think you have a couple of options, honestly, when it comes to using the same block of time. If you're going to use the same block of time, record one video, you have to go into it with intention, to Desiree's point, where you do your meet and greet because your community on, some social platforms needs that. That's the whole point of it. Like, I talk with you guys throughout the course of the lives, and I see you. I want you to know that I see you. And then you could do that meet and greet, and then just be very transparent. Listen, the next piece of my live, I'm recording this so you guys have access to it, but I'm also going to be putting this on YouTube. So I'm going to go straight through the content, and then I'll answer all your questions at the end. But there's another thing that I would like to address when it comes to live versus just recording in front of your camera, is the quality of your video. Usually the quality of your video is not as awesome when you go live, depending on the quality of your camera, as if you are just recording it straight on, because you have that, it could be connection. You could get blurry resolution here and there. The quality of a YouTube video, in my opinion, needs to be higher quality in some cases, as best quality as you possibly can anyway. So that's another factor just to think about. Sound quality, video quality, resolution of your image, is important. Do you agree with that too?
I
I'm
think
just
that
curious.
the best camera to get started with is the camera you have. What's really great about our camera world that we live in is, like, our webcams and our smartphones have really good cameras in them to use it.
Yes.
I have a friend, she does like DIY hacks, like copycats of like high-end designer stuff, and then she shows you how to DIY it cheap. I'm pretty sure she built her channel up to 20,000 subscribers and millions of views using an iPhone 8. Like, she's like really bootstrapped it. The biggest thing that people can't forgive when it comes to YouTube is you have to be able to hear you. Like, that's like the non-negotiable. People can forgive shaky cameras or lower quality resolutions, but if they can't hear you, they are out.
Yes, I totally agree. So if you guys have any other questions, we're going to be pulling up the winners for today's giveaways, the little, Webcam cover. Yes, Lisa won that. So Lisa, will you send me, if you, let's see, you are on Facebook, so just drop me in a message with your mailing address and we'll get this out to you. And then Sandy won the handy dandy little ring light. So Sandy, same, you're here on Facebook, it looks like. So if you'll just shoot me your mailing address. And then we've got Deb Nelson won 1 month of easel. Deb, if you will just shoot me your email address. Yes, right there. Just click on send message. Did I miss somebody? I got Deb was my last easel winner there. So I know we have 2 others. So Jeff is probably like, okay, I'm scrambling back here. Give me a second. So if you guys have questions, just drop them in. I have learned a ton today from Desiree. I hope you have as well.
I appreciate
All
you
right.
having me on. I'm here to help you, anybody with your YouTube needs. I'd love if you checked out my podcast. It's called The Women of YouTube, where we're telling the stories of women YouTube creators to inspire other women to start creating on YouTube, because I think that a lot of your audience are women, and I think that women are really underserviced demographic when it comes to YouTube. I think that specifically in my educator space, but just in general, and like for some interesting statistics, almost all the watchers of YouTube are split pretty 50-50 on the demographics of men and women on who consumes. But when you look at the categories of YouTube where women dominate, it's only 10% of the categories versus men dominate 90%. And so I really think that there is a lot of space for your genius to be shared and given. And I promise that you are an awesome person filled with great information that can help people. Start creating. Everyone starts off with bad videos, so don't let that stop you.
Amen. I love that. And where else can people find out more about you, Desiree? What do you, obviously your YouTube channel, feel free to give any touch points that you want for people who are interested in learning more about you.
Honestly, just check out my YouTube channel. You can find it at Mrs. Desiree Rose MRS on YouTube. It's the best place to start. Like I'm not super greedy. Like I'm just here to help you guys, and I'd love for you to listen to my podcast and hopefully inspire you to get started, because I truly think that one of the best ways to future-proof your income is to be on YouTube.
I agree wholeheartedly. So those of you who won today's giveaways, just feel free, make sure you just message me, like if it's the easel package, send me an email address and we'll get you set up, and then physical addresses for the physical things we have to send. So Jenny is a winner, 1 month of easel. So Jenny, if you'll send me your email address, we'll get you up and running. And then we have Casey, Karen, James as well. So Casey, if you'll send me your email address, we'll get you set up with an easel account. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Give Desiree a great big round of applause. Thank you so much for being here with us. And I'm hopeful that you guys will go forward and do something incredible with YouTube, because I do believe that there is such a great opportunity. It's always been there, but I think now with so many people consuming video content in particular, which by the way, it's just going to keep going up, even though right now this whole coronavirus thing is driving people to video. That genie is not going back in the bottle, guys. So get out there, do great things, and let YouTube start sending you some traffic. Okay. Thanks again, Desiree. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. God bless.